All right, chat. Another game. It's Forky versus Chronic. Forky is finally back. Not too long ago, we had a couple games of Forky as he started his run playing against Gino and Sharp. He was able to make it through both of them, just barely against Sharp, though. Another Game 5 loss for Sharp. Sharp's racked up a couple of those Game 5 losses on his attempt at defending against a couple challengers. But Forky, maybe one of the most exciting challengers to watch. A lot of new players on stream that we haven't had playing in the Gauntlet. Rapid was probably the first and most exciting that we've had so far. But Forky, another one. His only matches he's played on stream have been for the Gauntlet, and he is undefeated right now. A Twitch streamer. If you guys don't know who Forky is, I'm very surprised. You must not be connected with the Rocket League world. We talked last time about whether or not Forky is the most watched streamer, like the highest average Rocket League streamer. Somebody pointed out that KDOP averages more, which is a good call. KDOP, a French EU streamer, speaks French and has a nice French audience, bigger than Forky's. But hey, you know, we'll take top NA streamer. He's gonna start this one with a nice flick and a first. Baguette. I can't believe actually KDOP came up after you guys talked about Baguette to start the game. He's going up against Chronic. Now Chronic, a high-level 1 player. Wow, Chronic did this the last time he played. He likes smacking it off the crossbar and back into himself. It doesn't seem intentional, but at this point, he's hit so many of these shots that, I mean, we have to start giving him credit for him. Chronic's played a lot on stream. If this is the first game you're watching on our stream, we'll talk about Chronic's history a little bit, though I'm sure some of the veterans have heard this a million times before. Chronic has played in basically all the big tournaments. We've had two $500 tournaments called the Feer 500. He played in both of those, finished in the semifinals of both of them. And he also played in the first Next Gen, a tournament for players under 15 years old. And he was the champion of that one, beating Daniel in the finals. Since then, Chronic has turned 15, and he is now able to play in Psionic-sponsored events, which means he wasn't allowed to play in the second Next Gen. But he's moved on to bigger and better things, can now play in those official 1v1 tournaments like Smug. He played in a couple different Smug matches for Johnny Boy's stream. But now he's here to defend the Gauntlet, and he's done well so far. In fact, he hasn't lost. 2 wins. Took down Rapid and took down YungEvoh. Rapid in Game 5, an overtime of Game 5, so just barely, but he took down YungEvoh in 4. So didn't have too much issue stopping him. We'll see how he handles Forky. Chronic has not seemed to play too much recent 1v1 in terms of the leaderboard. I haven't seen him on the leaderboard in this season, I don't think. And even towards the end of last season, he had stopped playing him. Whereas Forky, we see on the leaderboards basically all the time. I'm sure if he went to go check, he'd be somewhere in the 30s or 40s right now. A great shot from Forky, by the way, a flip reset. Or I'm not even sure if he got the flip reset, just using those wheels first to help win the 50 as Chronic challenges off the wall. So a clean start for Forky. Nobody has made it past Chronic yet. And Forky wants to be the first. I feel like Chronic almost is not known for slow starts, but it does seem like it takes him a bit to maybe get used to the player he's playing against. I don't know why I feel like I remember that. But once he gets in the zone, figures out what he needs to do to win a series, he's very, very unstoppable. Forky coming off of being completely off the game, I think. I think he had a busy day today, it sounded like. But he's here to start the match right at 9 Eastern. Do you think Chronic is in Austin? Yeah, Chronic played in this last regional, the Spring Regional 3 with a team called Austin. Was able to make it in. Forky trying to set up a bounce to himself for a long shot, and wow, completely ended up whipping on it. In fact, Chronic really feels like he should have had that counterattack there, but didn't really have the boost to give it the power he needed, and a nice delayed shot from Chronic will get his second. He sees Forky in the way he's defending. Forky goes up this side wall. He tries to delay this shot as long as he can because it's so awkward to come off the wall. He gets that tap and squeezes it in. Forky actually got pretty close to saving it. Forky playing some rapid defense there as Chronic prepped his shot. We saw nobody move like Rapid did in the net in his run through the Gauntlet. The man refused to stand still at any moment. Even if he was in a good position, he wanted to keep moving, flying in and around the net, trying to throw off the attacker. And it worked well for him. I mean, he made it really far. Chronic, a loss to Chronic is nothing to hang your head about. Chronic, one of the best there is in the game, and was almost able to take him down. But I was going to say he had a very unique style of defense until we saw Forky running it a little bit himself. No way. These guys are going to hold this for a minute 40. Yeah, they're not going to. I was wondering if they're going to hold a full minute 40 Rule 1 and then just finish it out in overtime. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen that. A nice Johnsky, I think we could qualify that from Forky, but it's going to get saved away. In fact, the last time we did see a Rule 1 for the entirety of a match or multiple minutes, oh, you know what? I think it was Dreaz and Daniel. I don't think it was Chronic. Dreaz and Daniel played in a next-gen match where I think they had like a minute or two left on the clock, got into a Rule 1, and just sat it all the way out until the end. So, not something we haven't seen before. Forky, a nice flip reset, but so low to the ground. Not even going to require more than a single jump from Chronic to save, and that means the counterattack is going to be really simple. Chronic took it as easy as he could. Could have sped it up a little bit more, I imagine, but wanted to just secure it for sure. Forky has got to keep those flip resets high. You need to get those plays higher up near the crossbar. Force out at least a double jump save because that occupies the defender's time so much more. Prevents them from just running it straight back into your net. Chronic with a pre-jump. Forky likes to go in the air. He's going to get a ceiling reset. This is Forky's specialty. He'll have no issue. Too bad he wasn't able to get a nicer clip. He could have slapped that out of the air had it had a little extra heat. But he got bumped and played the and one very, very well. A little ceiling reset. Didn't end up using it, but didn't need to. 4-4 with 35 left to go. Forky on the kickoff, too high, and he needs to use all 35 to quickly recover. So Chronic has got a low boost defender in net. The pre-jump save not only gets the ball out of his net, but more importantly, or probably equally as importantly, I guess I'll concede, is he's able to grab that corner boost, which stops Chronic's attack, which otherwise would have went for a long time. Wow, what a great pre-jump to the ceiling from Chronic. Didn't want to let Forky get his shot going at all. In fact, Chronic is being very aggressive with low boost. He does not want Chronic to play something in the air, especially when he's low. Instead of sitting back in net trying to reset, he decides to cut off the play before it can start. Forky's going to keep this one in the air at 0 seconds, but it's got to hit the ground now, yeah. Chronic in his defense probably was trying to keep it up. But overtime in game number 1, a great kickoff for Forky. Is this going to be direct? No, Chronic should have been able to get there, but he actually faked Forky out. If Forky had for some reason banked on Chronic missing, which would have been a big mistake in 90% of the situations, he could have had an easy goal. Instead, he trusted Chronic not to miss, and that ended up being his downfall. Chronic, a flick on net with no defender. He was low on boost in slightly awkward spot. Oh my goodness, Chronic. So lucky he bumped Forky out of the way, or maybe not lucky, but if he hadn't bumped Forky, it would have been an easy goal, but Forky's gonna get one anyways. It'll be a Forky 1-0 lead. Able to snipe Chronic out of the air as he tried to pre-jump after getting demoed. And Forky will take him out again. 5-4 in favor of Forky. His hands are so sweaty from the gym. Yeah, it makes sense. Forky just getting back from working out. Forky's gonna go up 1-0. Here we go, chat. Game number 2. Chronic versus Forky. Forky able to take the first one in overtime in a very close back and forth. And what Chronic said was him losing that game. Wait a second. Do you guys want to see the player board as well as the scoreboard? Or are you guys cool with just not seeing it? Forky dribble all the way from his half. He didn't have any boost to make a play, and he tried to kind of force the issue by getting a flip reset late. He's going to give Carson a regain as these guys smack talk each other a little bit. That was actually one of the ways that Forky met his downfall before. In fact, chat was suggesting that that will be Forky's downfall if he gets a little bit too interested in going for some clips, maybe overshooting for those flip resets. Chronic able to get a bunch of fakes here on this bounce dribble because the bounce dribble was straight up and down. It wasn't actually towards Forky's net. But Forky able to keep it away. A long clear. And he might not be able to grab boost. Oh, wow. He must have had something. Almost able to take an opportunity from Chronic, who left the ball dangerously bouncing in front of his net. The aggressiveness from Chronic. He does not want to give Forky space. It can be so frustrating when you have a player playing defense like that. Nice clear off the back wall. So hard to get double touches in ones, as we've talked so many times before. Oh no, Forky! Oh no. Forky's gonna slam one in his own net. Chronic is gonna have something to say for sure. I knew he was gonna have something to say. No way you cannot say something. Just a pre-flip, trying to get back. Chronic had done such a good job of grabbing that corner boost. Forky needed to rush back as quick as he could and just couldn't make it in time. So credit to Chronic. I mean, it does look like an own goal. It's sometimes easy to forget how Chronic basically forced Forky's hand. If Forky didn't pre-jump like he did, or pre-flip like he did, Chronic likely just takes a very easy goal. But a good bounce dribble setup and a hook shot to the top left is going to leave Chronic completely out of position. And this time, maybe a very genuine, nice one from Chronic. Hard to know. Maybe he's really just a Forky fan, and he's seriously is just trying to get Forky to regain. Forky able to steal possession here at midfield and grab that corner boost. He really had no business doing so. Chronic was sitting on the ball with 100 as well, and really should have been able to force Forky out of his way, set up whatever he wanted, but for some reason he just let Forky all the way back in. Forky, what a clear off the ceiling. He says, I'm not letting anybody take it in the air. That's my domain. And a great defensive shot. Another good hook shot, this time a little bit too weak. Try to take it off the volley instead of ripping it on a half volley, which sometimes eats up your power if you can't connect on it perfectly. Chronic dribble, flip reset. Actually turned that shot into a decent one as opposed to a mistake. He needed to put that behind Forky, so that last little bit that he adjusted with that flip reset was the reason why Forky couldn't run away with it. Had to backflip in order to get the save, and that was the difference. But Chronic gonna get another one. Just a dribble from his half. Forky trying to shadow close, ends up getting himself killed. Chronic got like absolutely no power on that. He couldn't have possibly hit it softer, but luckily for him, he'll run into Forky, or maybe intentionally, hard to know. He'll die here. The fake kickoff not gonna work for him. Forky's gonna have absolutely no problem getting a second goal. Maybe Chronic will think twice about fake kickoffs again. Lion's first time on stream was this past week. Why do you say yikes? Oh yeah, he hasn't played on pre-gauntlet. That's true. Forky, another kickoff goal. So Chronic, he can't win. If he fakes the kickoff, he gets scored on. If he goes to the kickoff, he gets scored on. So that is a tough situation to be in. It's hard to suggest that Chronic might prefer a low-scoring game. A player that's normally so offensively focused. Seems like the more scoring, the better for him. But right now, the kickoffs are not doing him any favors. In his own half, low on boost. Good job of clearing this one away as Forky tried to set up the Doomsday, but Forky is going to bring it right back to the skies where he knows Chronic can't come up to meet him. A 50 will not keep it out. He actually had the top of his car faced towards the ball. It really felt like a situation where he would probably want to be wheels first. He wants to kill that ball in front of the net and drop it in, but instead let it get squeezed out with a lot more speed. 3-3 with a minute 30 left to go. Another close game. As the clock ticks down, Chronic cannot get past the last inch of this Forky defense. He thought he saw a couple windows in the past few shot attempts, but Forky able to get a redirect in the final moments. He's got a lot of space now, a huge boost advantage. Forky having to rush back. Should be able to get this clear pretty easily. I can't believe Forky didn't try and take it off the wall. What was he thinking here? I gotta watch this from Forky's perspective. I mean, could he not get to this ball? Yeah, he absolutely could have. I don't know what that read was. He had to try and cut that ball early before it came off the wall, but instead he went up the net, and I can't really explain why he did that. It's not going to work for him. Chronic's going to have absolutely no one defending the net at all, and an easy tap in. Forky trying to get a possession going here. Chronic doing what he's done a lot this series, which is, despite being low on boost, staying as close as he can to Forky, keeping the pressure on. A long clear and a fifth. This will come at the hands of Forky, probably playing a little bit more aggressively than he wants to. Not the best of recoveries off this wall, but probably wasn't going to matter as he tries to really force the issue just outside the goal of Chronic. Forky launching Chronic to the moon. Has just enough boost to make a play here on the goal line. He'll place it well, but Chronic gets the clear and buys himself enough time to grab boost, or does he? A quick power shot from Forky, a great recovery from Chronic. He's gonna sit here and wait it out. Oh no, he thought it was coming off the wall. Chronic thought he didn't need to go for this one. He made, he made a great save, and then he saw this soft hit. Instead of using, he wasn't gonna make it there. I take it back. The reason why I didn't pull the trigger was because even if he used his last 20 boost, he wasn't going to get that save, so he might as well sit and wait and see if it's not going to be in or not. 20 seconds left. Chronic trying to get a quick shot. The downside of a quick shot off kickoff is it does put you at risk for a quick counterattack. This time, Chronic seems like maybe he's stopped it. He's not quite out of the woods yet. This ball in the corner, a nice bump from Chronic. He should be able to take it over to the corner and end it. Not a lot of time left, and game number 2 will go in favor of the defender. Chronic trying not to drop a single match. Everybody who followed, sorry I wasn't able to get to you in between these two games. It was a quick intermission, but we're here in game number 3 of Chronic versus Forky. Forky gonna demo Chronic right at the start of this one, and a great flick. Early challenge, usually pretty easy to read. Players love to respawn and get right back into play. You start at such a slow pace, and it feels so much better to quickly maybe surprise challenge and get moving. Forky back into his own corner, trying to see if he can bait Chronic in. Chronic has been very willingly playing close to Forky, and why not? I mean, Forky's going to hand one over to him, just giving a little bit of pressure. Forky making a mistake on the side wall. He's got a lot of boost, but he's got Chronic right behind him and has to keep it moving in order to prevent getting demoed. So tried his best. Honestly, probably just to dodge the demo. He probably didn't even really care about what kind of touch he got on the ball. Unfortunately, the touch that he did get was one that was a perfect pass to Chronic, but a great kickoff. I think the kickoff game has been going in favor of Forky. He's had a couple different great kickoffs. This wave dash kickoff is one of the fastest we've seen. We see, I think iRicky goes for that a lot. A lot of other players mix it in. I don't think we've seen anybody do it as fast as Forky. And I think the reason why he's able to do it so fast is he knows so perfectly when to use that flip where he won't front flip. Because the whole danger of using a wave dash too early is that your car, flips. Nice. I think that's a Johnski, chat. I think Chronic just gave us a nice Johnski flick for the fans. Forky gonna play goal line defense, and Chronic can just sit and wait. But as I was saying about Forky, he's so good at timing that flip, which means he gets out of his wave dash kickoff just so much faster. Chronic once again with possession. He is going to take this for a full field dribble. Forky pre-jumping, great pre-jump, risky. Chronic seemed like he saw it coming, but a big whiff and a good payoff for Forky, who's had enough of Chronic in the air. Cuts it off. It was a huge telegraph by Chronic, to be fair. Both these guys have had their own chances where they just take the ball and run it all the way back, across the field to what is a very, very obvious air dribble setup that takes enough time for them to get punished. Forky is going to rip one off the backboard. Chronic in midfield. Forky trying to shadow closely. This time Chronic does get a little bit of heat on his flick, but it's too high. Chronic back to his own corner. A boom of a shot and just caught Forky off guard. Forky's positioning was weird here. Maybe he was trying to decide if he could get a challenge. Yeah, oh, he's low on boost. Interesting, he turned in field. Oh, I think he just must have missed. Yeah, that makes the most sense. He was trying to curve around the boost at midfield and make a challenge high, but when he missed it, there's just nothing he can do with 4 boost. 3-3, another close game, 2 minutes in. Chronic trying to undercut Forky, likely to demo him, but did enough of a job pushing him back. This first touch too high, too much separation between himself and the car, and Forky will get a free one. Cannot get that much separation on initiation of an air dribble. You leave open a huge opportunity. Man, the kickoffs are all Forky. Chronic surprisingly needs a low scoring game because every time we get to a kickoff, it has been going in Forky's favor. And just a single jump on this one, and somehow he beat Chronic by a good amount. You know, not only did he get to the ball quicker, but he also didn't use that last flip. Was still able to get a huge win. So Forky's got something figured out on the kickoff here. Chronic able to at least go neutral here on the second one. Great read. Forky's been challenging early, and Chronic will rip it off the wall as soon as he can. He sees Chronic getting ready at the corner, so he just uses that flip right away, and then Forky just looks like he's in no man's land. Was making that pre-jump read, assuming Chronic was going to slam it off the wall. So 2:28, these guys refuse to get too much separation between each other. Forky in a great spot here as Chronic so low on boost, but it's tough, man. The ball's not moving, and neither is Forky. So despite the fact that the defender's super out of position, Forky didn't feel like he had any good way to get a boomer of a shot. But he'll find a 6th. Forky up the sidewall. Chronic trying to pre-jump. Wow, so close. He actually did a pretty good job of challenging. He was trying to stop a high ball and had to recover low, and was just a couple inches off. So a 2-goal lead, which is massive. And by that, I mean a 1-goal lead, which is, you know, the normal amount of lead we've had all game. As Chronic instantly hits a kickoff goal in of his own. So this time the wave dash not working for Forky. But my goodness, we have not seen, you know, too many matches on stream that are this close. I think anytime somebody's led for, you know, by more than a goal, it's been for 5 seconds at most. Forky, musty bump. I'm surprised he didn't use that last 31 boost. It was do or die. Wow, Forky deciding not to use his last 31. He rips a musty, and he falls a little bit too far in front of the ball. And while he might have held on to the 31 to recover, it seems like he maybe could have used that last 30 boost to try and get a bump. The way I see it, if he didn't hit the bump, he was getting scored on either way, whether he used the 31 boost or not. But decided to hold on to it. Maybe he just knew he was over, knew there was no chance he was going to be able to bump anyways. Chronic gonna clear this one away. Forky's going to get a full field dribble here off the corner. A soft setup. Wow, instant use of the flip. And is he going to be able to get the bump on Chronic? He did. I do not know how Forky turned that into anything at all. That seemed like a big mistake at the start of the dribble. But Forky will work a little bit of magic. He is known for being a creative player in the air, and he found a way to score this air dribble bump, even though I think Chronic avoided him. Did he even get a touch on Chronic? Chronic did avoid him, but had to go too high above to knock it down, and it will still roll in. So a great shot attempt from Forky, and Chronic looking better on the kickoffs has earned a free opportunity here. And Chronic off the side wall. There are not many more players than Chronic that you'd be worried about coming off that air dribble kickoff. Chronic touch to the corner, trying to win out of 50 instead of trying to double it. Wait, Chronic going up that side wall might have been the difference between him being scored on or not. I can't believe Forky's not taking the ball at all. I know he's got low boost, but he is just dodging the ball like it has the plague. He is going to get this save. It's going to be tough to get a second one, though. Needed to kill this ball. He has all the boost that he needs to make a play, but the ball is bouncing just high enough and just far enough in net that he feels like he can't stay on the ground. He might have been able to stay on the ground. If he did, he would have been able to follow it up for a second touch, but a huge risk to take, and instead of looking stupid while it just bounced in above him, he decided to pull the trigger and side flip but that left him out of position for the final save. So chat, can you believe it yet again? Have we had overtime every game? Maybe not quite overtime in game number 2, but it looks like we're headed to another overtime unless Forky makes a nice play here on the goal line, which certainly very possible. Chronic gonna clear this one wide. Looking like we're going to overtime in game number 3 as well. Have we had 3 overtimes? Chat, you'll have to let me know. At least 2. Wave dash kickoff from Chronic. This might be the first time we've seen him go for the wave dash kickoff. And despite having the ball in a threatening spot, Forky will bump him away. Bounce, dribble for Forky. He'll flick it past. In the process, put it out of dangerous way. Chronic will take him out of the play. He's got all the field in the world. So a soft tap to set up a bounce dribble. And he didn't have many more options there with how fast he had started the dribble. Had to take a power shot out of it. Forky not in the best spot. Chronic didn't get the perfect touch on the side wall. Forky has an opportunity with a low boost for a long shot, but Chronic takes it away and is able to win the boost in the corner and dodge the demo from Forky. Forky will likely be leaving. I can't believe he risked it. Wait, did Forky get back? No. Oh my goodness. Let's watch this from Forky's perspective. What was he doing? He's so aggressive here with no boost. Maybe he's able to pick up a couple pads. I'm surprised he had that much boost. But anyways, instead of going back to net, where he certainly would have been able to save a long shot, he went all in and tried to demo Chronic, and it didn't work, so Chronic will go up in game number 3, 2-1 in this best of 5. Or at the end of finishing here. Chat! Game number 4. Chronic versus Forky. Chronic able to win games 2 and 3 after Forky taking an early lead in that game number 1. Chronic, if he were to win this next game, he would be 3-0 in his defenses against challengers. Right now, Gino and Chronic, the only players to stop any challenger. Chronic air dribble, flip reset, doesn't use it, and gets a turtle touch on the ground, threatening the use of the flip reset throughout the whole flight. Forky has to sit and wait, but I don't think I've ever seen a turtle shot. Oh my goodness, getting the extra power. Chronic, the flip reset turtle. Gonna get him his first. In fact, I think Forky's been starting with an early lead in most of these games, but this time, Chronic gonna get the first. Double jump pop from Forky. Not very threatening, but able to grab a demo and should be able to get a first with how efficient these guys are with car movement and dribbling the ball. Just absolutely a breeze, no big deal. Taking this one off the wall, catching it, and bringing it into the tight corner post. He did not have to be that perfect with it, but why not? Forky up early. Chronic able to realize in time and hold on to his 20 boost instead of wasting it to take a shot attempt. There have been so many times in this match where I go to Forky's perspective and he's got way more boost than I expected. Doing a good job of picking up pads and holding on to the little boost he is able to gain, especially on defense. Chronic giving himself a close one. I don't know if he thought he should have shot that one on net. Forky low on boost. A very rare occasion for him. He's been able to handle all these boost starvation tactics very well without ever going low. And a long shot from Forky. The attack from Chronic hadn't been good so far, and he finally made the lethal mistake. A lot of weak shots from Chronic. Forky doing a good job of threatening the clear on the wall. As he jumps up to the back wall, he's making it look like he's going to tap it, which means Chronic is forced to retreat. So Chronic starts, playing passively, grabbing boost. But then Forky very intentionally doesn't get that touch on the sidewall, lets it come right off the sidewall and into a power shot position where he rips a zero boost shot that is still incredibly unsavable. Chronic maintaining possession, not so well. He used up every last bit of his boost, and it didn't get him much, not much to show for it. He was trying not to make a mistake and use his flip in the air there when Forky was more than ready, but he ended up just doing the same exact thing except leaving it on the ground. Forky, long shot, well placed, what a save. Able to hold on to 35 boosts. Forky from the ceiling, his musty is nowhere close, and if Chronic is efficient, he could be in trouble. or he could be dead. Forky taking him out in the corner. Nice recovery on what was a very poor shot, but Chronic has read a lot of Forky dribbles very, very well. We've seen many challenges ripped from the top of Forky's car all the way to the back wall. I think Forky is fortunate that not a single one of those has gone just straight in the net, because Chronic has done a good job of taking them away from him. Forky up 3-1 in this game number 4. He wants a chance to stay alive in game 5. And he's doing a great job of scooping past Chronic in that corner and demoing him. Can Chronic get the free jump? No, it's too tough. Maybe if he spawned a little bit closer, but got about the worst possible spawn. Stop playing like that, says Chronic. Well, I'm sure Forky will listen. He's only up 4-1. So no reason not to just listen to Chronic. He'll probably stop doing what he was doing and instead just let Chronic catch back up. Forky up the side wall. Chronic with the takeaway. Operating on very little boost, but instead of grabbing midfield, he's going to stay close to Forky, and this is why he has been so efficient on low boost on offense. We've seen Forky do a good job of just really maintaining the little boost that he does have, but Chronic has found a way to not get punished while hovering in the last third of Forky's half with absolutely nothing. You started? Yeah, so this is a chess game now, no going back. I love it. Some serious mind games going on, not only in the game, but also in the chat. Forky, a great outplay, but no boost to make the finishing touch as that ball bounced far too high. Chronic, his flick to the top corner will get him demoed. Forky is just taking Chronic off the map time and time again. This time on his own corner. He's done a great job of doing it on Chronic's corner. Chronic doesn't like dying. He also likes calling Forky Carson. Man, that looks so fast. Whenever you watch that wave dash kickoff from the other person's perspective, it just looks like he goes zooming past them. Forky, flip reset. Oh my goodness, Forky, wait, he saved his own shot. He did a great job of bumping Chronic out of the way with this flip reset, but then decided to save the ball away himself. Chronic going for a demo play of his own, not going to work. And he's just going to say, all right, next game. Chronic forfeiting this game number 4, wants to go to game 5 as Forky, with a minute left to go, gets a win, only up 4. But here we go. Game 5, Chronic versus Forky. Forky 1 game away from staying alive, continuing his run, and getting an opportunity to play G2's own Dreaz. And Chronic trying to end the run of Forky, keep him and then the rest of his defenders alive in a chance for the money. Chronic has been the defender's most reliable player so far, and he has been a clutch master in the past as he turns it on to start this game. Up 1-0, a very dangerous clear across Forky's path. But luckily for Chronic, he knew that Forky couldn't see into the future. But if Forky could, he would have been able to snipe that ball very easily away. Chronic, a shot over the crossbar, and it'll be a free goal for Forky. And that is the frustration of 1v1. A great outplay. Chronic, the entire 30 seconds so far, had been fully in control. Every shot attempt was in his favor, but he launched that one just a little bit too high. And with no teammates on the field to help, you get extra punished as the ball goes back the other way. Forky, bounce dribble. He's looked really good on the bounce dribbles earlier in the series, but those ended in hook shots. This time, he tries to get a slight dribble. Chronic in the air. Forky up to meet him. Chronic above him, but got a slight tap out of the way, preventing Chronic from getting the double touch and the counterattack for Forky. I tell you what, these guys are normally such high-flying players, but both of them have done a great job of neutralizing each other's air game, which is a bummer for the fans who all wanted to see some Chronic and Forky clips. But it is high-level 1v1, and they're both showing how to stop the other player from being able to do their favorite type of offense. And everybody else who has to play these guys ever needs to be taking notes on how they're defending each other and keeping them from clipping on each other all day. Chronic, a nice demo and a second as he misses on his musty. And this has just become the best way in the world to make up for your missed play. Ooh, weren't able to connect like you want to? Well, it was a demo play all along. This is Chronic of old, by the way. For the past few times we've had Chronic on stream, he was almost completely done chatting. Oh my goodness, nice shot from Chronic. A good race to the corner boost. Chronic very intentionally undercutting Forky as he clears the ball. Forky with no, he just can't get to it. Too fast, too good. Chronic turned on his monitor. You might be right. Chronic kickoff. Tapped high by Forky. He's going to have a really tough time saving the continuation. One of the things that have been working for Forky the best, especially earlier in the series, was the kickoff. And it seems like Chronic not only has neutralized it like he did in the past couple of games, but might even favor him now. He's using that wave dash kickoff that Forky likes to use a lot. Chronic is so good in the air. You just might be able to find a way to shoot this one, despite getting knocked in a very awkward position by Forky. Chronic aggressively attacking the ball in his own half. Can't find the angle. In fact, he probably needed Forky to help him pinch it. I don't think he ever had a chance of shooting that online, but maybe tried to have Forky give him an assist. He did refresh on boost here. Wow, how fortunate is that? Flip reset for Chronic. He'll take it to the ground and a backwards wave dash. Every time these guys have gotten flip resets, they've had to force them in through the ground, but Chronic has found a way to make them as exciting as possible. Oh my goodness, a backwards wave dash touch to give it a little bit of extra oomph on its way into the net. 5-2, the king of clutch trying to come out here. The best win percentage on the stream. Chronic does not want to put that statistic at risk with a loss to Forky here. Forky, long shot to the back wall. Chronic is dead, but he might have time to respawn and get back to this one. It'll be a high pinch. He does find a way to keep it out of the net, but he's got very low boost, and he can't do it. It's so tough to sit and watch that person set up the flick. You try and get a good idea of when and where they're going to go, but ultimately, Chronic needed to rush to that ball. He had a few seconds there where he hovered, and he couldn't do so. Oh, by the way, yeah, I should mention, when I talk about Chronic's best winning percentage, that is, of course, excluding Wilt Chamberlain, aka aka Kinsey. Kinsey, who holds all the records, we, of course, exclude when talking about other players. Chronic, a nice demo at midfield and a race to the boost. Forky in the air, flip reset. This is some classic Forky. We have yet to see this game, but it's perfect when it comes out. And Chronic is known to be very complimentary of when he gets clipped on. He loves a good shot, even if it's on his own net. And wow, what a great flip reset from Forky. Crossbar and down, and Chronic is nowhere to be found. So 2 minutes left to go. Chronic able to gain a considerable lead here at the start of game number 5 in a way that this series had not been going up until this point. These guys have kept the scoreline close the entire game until this game number 5, where Chronic got a little bit of leeway. Long shot from Chronic. Thought he saw an opportunity to sneak it past Forky, but Forky saw it as well. Got a quick half flip off the wall. Chronic's trying to stay on top of the ball with very little boost. He will pinch it back out in front of the net. Forky did not have a lot of time to get a read. Tried to pre-jump the ball coming out to midfield and couldn't get the shot on net. A minute 30 left to go. Chronic trying to barrel down Forky. Never ever leaving on offense. Worked for him so far. Has been able to keep the slate mostly clean. Nice counterattack here for a 7th. A minute left to go. It's not over for Forky, but he's had a lot of kickoff goals in this series. Great pass to himself off the back wall, though. Good realization. Seeing the opening and taking it. Forky at 50 with Chronic at midfield. I can't believe he didn't take a shot attempt. Seemed like he might have had an opportunity to get a soft touch. It wasn't going to be strong, but he needed almost anything to head towards Chronic's net. And it just ended up being a little bit too awkward of a read. I guess instead, he'd rather keep the bouncing ball, go for a more confident, sure shot, but he's in a situation where he needs any goal he can get, and he might need a little bit of luck. And that could have been a shot attempt. Ever since then, a lot of time wasted on the clock. Didn't want to pull the trigger on that one, and it might be the difference between him having a chance to come back in this game number 5 or not. His flip reset is going to turn into nothing, and every second that ticks off the clock is in favor of Chronic. In fact, he'll secure it with an 8th goal. Chronic, with 16 seconds left to go, has to be over, assuming he knows how to handle kickoffs and decides to go to them. He's going to fake this kickoff. That'll do it. Chronic will end yet another run. My goodness. The man wins a lot of games for a reason. A nice fake, and he'll flip his camera back and forth as he scores his 9th. Forky, a good showing. Not a bad win against Gino and Sharp. A Game 5 win, I believe, against Sharp. A Game 5 loss to Chronic. 2 of our best challengers so far have been stopped in the Game 5 against the 15-year-old youngster from Team Austin as he wins this one 3-2.